on him!
Welcome to Fish North Georgia's The Guide. Here's Foster DuBroc.
Hey guys, Foster here with another video for The Guide at Fish North Georgia. Today I wanted to talk about jig fishing, and in particular the trailers that you can put on jig fishing or on the back of your jig to really make a difference for which scenario you're throwing a jig in. So we're going to talk about, I always throw a Zoom speed crawl or a Zoom Z crawl or a double tail grub. This is a Zoom double tail grub, but I also throw a Gary Yamamoto double tail grub 90% of the time. This is just the one I had down here in the tackle room on the wall. But I wanted to talk to y'all about like the different scenarios and the different areas that you would pick one trailer versus the other. So of course, let's just start with the speed crawl. The speed crawl I throw, like I said, 98% of the time. It's a really good trailer. It fits really well on a jig. As you can see, there's no like separation between the actual like body of the trailer and then like the little head. It's like in line, it's flush, 100% flush. And that's really what I look for in a jig trailer, especially when I'm swimming a jig or skipping docks and stuff like that. I like it to be flush because if not, the water will pick it up and it'll actually move it down the shank of the hook, and then you got a whole wasted cast. So I don't like to do that, but I do throw this trailer because it doesn't take a lot of water to actually make those legs kick. With a lot of trailers, you got to actually get it to go for it to actually displace water. With the speed crawl, you don't have to. So that's why I throw that. And I can do a lot of stuff with it. Like I said, I can skip, flip, swim it back to the boat, or swim it in general. Really, you can do a lot of things with that trailer, and it works. It flat out works. I throw it in two colors. I throw it always in a pumpkin, or I throw it in a huckleberry, depending on the color of jig that I throw. If it's got a little bit of purple in it, like the jig has a little bit of purple, excuse me, if the jig has a little bit of purple in it, I will throw the huckleberry just because it matches really well together. But if it does not, like I'm going through a crawfish or like a bait fish color, like this color, green shiner from a Chattahoochee jig, I throw a pumpkin on it. It's just what I would do if I was throwing a speed crawl. But you have like your other colors, like your peanut butter and jellies. Of course, I'm gonna throw a huckleberry on the back of it. If you got your other colors, like I have a color, it's called Easy Street. I'm gonna throw that huckleberry on the back of it. But you have like your brown craws, your real deal craw, or looking at the colors over here, or say like a BB herring, real deal crawl. I'm gonna throw a pumpkin on the back of it just because it's an all around color, and just because it doesn't match doesn't mean it's not gonna catch fish. Just keep it simple, keep it stupid. A fish's brain is only the size of a pea, so I mean we give them a little bit too much credit sometimes. But if you can dumb it down in your head, then you can dumb it down and you'll still catch fish. But those are the two colors I throw on the speed crawl, and that's when I throw, like I said, skipping, flipping, swimming, casting a jig. I will throw a speed crawl. Now, when I am dragging a jig in brush, when I'm dragging a jig on deep rock, like a point, in deeper water than say 10 foot, I will throw a grub. The reason why I'll throw a double tail grub is because it takes very little water to, I say very little water, it takes very little movement to get those legs to move. It takes just lifting the rod tip up very slowly for those legs to actually kick while the jig is moving, compared to like a speed crawl when you have to swim a jig to make it crank, to make it kick, or like a Z crawl when you have to really pump it to make it kick. These do not take a lot of water. They kick really subtle, really nice, and they still puff up or make a jig a good profile bait. In the wintertime, I throw the Zoom one because it's a little more lethargic of a bait. If you look, there's less turns in this bait, in the tail of this bait. Now, if you know, I don't have them with me right now, but a Gary Yamamoto has like 3 twists in it, so it has a lot more movement. So I throw the Gary Yamamoto in the summertime. Just for the little bit of added action. It probably doesn't help or doesn't do anything, but to me, it does, so that's what I do. Again, Gary Yamamoto, I throw black, brown, purple, or purple smoke is I think the color of the Gary Yamamoto. I don't know the number or the name. I know what it looks like, so that's what I pick up every time, and I usually order it in bulk, so I don't have to get it very frequently, so I don't remember the name. The Zoom ones I throw in the watermelon, or I throw in the pumpkin. The watermelon is just the one I had on the shelf. Down here is just the one I was able to get. Now, that being the smaller U-tail trailers is another trailer I will throw in the winter or when I'm dragging a jig. In the wintertime, I always throw a U-tail. But in the summertime, I throw a U-tail only when I'm dragging in brush or DuBroc. So now with the other trailer that I throw the Z-crawl. I will always throw the Z-crawl on a football jig. A big flapping bait, a bigger trailer, like a Z-crawl or a spicy beaver by Reaction Innovations. I will throw those always on a football jig because I like to stroke a football jig a lot. So what I mean by doing that is I throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, reel up my slack, and I'll take the butt of my rod and I'll yank it up real quick. Like if y'all ever fluttered a spoon, it's the same exact thing. It's just you're letting this one hit all the way to the bottom. So you're trying to get that reaction strike out of a fish. So I will throw. I yo-yo or flutter a football jig a lot of the times in the summertime. The reason I throw this is because it gets a big profile on that jig, but it has really big pinchers or a really big cupping on that to where it picks up a lot of water and disperses a lot of water to catch. To catch water and to be able to have something else for those fish to key on. So I will always throw something with like really big flapping things. Another scenario that I will throw a Z-craw is around the bluegill spawn. In the bluegill spawn, I will throw these because it is that bigger, wider bait. And the big craw actually displaces and imitates a bluegill tail a lot better than any other trailers. So I will throw this a lot on the back of a swim jig, and I will throw it not flat. Let me actually get a swim jig head. There you go. This is a Chattahoochee jig. This is a white 1/4 ounce swim jig head. It's got a big flipping hook in it, so good luck missing fish. But with this, around that bluegill spawn, I'll actually rig this sideways, which is a little bit different than what a lot of people put their swim jigs, but this is the way I do it. And of course, this doesn't have a skirt on it, so you're not going to be able to really get what I'm talking about. I went a little bit further down on the jig to replace not having a skirt on it, but I will put it this way. That being said, when I'm swimming this around, the lily grass, the gator grass, or hydrilla, milfoil, or even the stick-ups, like at Lanier, we have a lot of buckbrush that we get flooded in the springtime, and so you swim a swim jig around that a lot, that or a chatterbait. So I will actually turn the trailer sideways to imitate that tail a little bit better, and these still do kick a lot. A lot. So it'll imitate a trailer or a bluegill a lot really well with this trailer. Now, I turn it sideways on a swim jig. On a regular arky jig, say I'm just flipping bluegill beds or I'm flipping docks around a bluegill bed. This is just a regular jig I have down right here. It's not a bluegill imitator by any means, but just to show you how I rig it, I will actually cut this trailer in half to make it fit on this jig a little bit. So the Z-Crawl has a hook slot in it. I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, you can see that right there. That hook slot. I will go a couple rings a little bit before that hook slot. Throw it right down the center. And come out right before that hook slot ends. That's just how I have mine measured. And then with that hook slot being like that, you can actually have, I don't know, the hook keeper goes through the hook slot and actually holds that bait on a lot better because it is through that piece of plastic. But when I'm skipping a dock or throwing around bluegill beds, I will put that trailer on the regular way and be able to like crawl it and really like hop it, twitch it, and then drag this jig around those bluegill beds to imitate like a wounded bluegill a lot better. So that's the way I do that. There you go. And I'll show you this one more time. So I mean, you can really see the size difference. Like these are both the same 3/8 size jigs, but you can definitely tell one's way bigger, one's way smaller, just because of the size of the trailer now. Makes a really big difference. So, well, alright guys, this is Foster DuBroc again with another video, and I just wanted to talk about that. Thanks y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next time on The Guide.
Thanks for watching The Guide here at Fish North Georgia. Our mission is to build a community of anglers to give you the best and latest information to make your day on the water more successful. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content. Make sure you check us out at fishnorthgeorgia.com, where we carry a large variety of bait manufacturers from here in the North Georgia area. So we appreciate you being part of our community, and we'll see you soon.